Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has begun a critical regional tour which stops in Islamabad, Muscat and Moscow officially to coordinate on bilateral matters and consult on rapidly evolving regional dynamics. But beyond the formal agenda, the timing raises key questions. Tensions remain high. Indirect channels of communication are active, and at the center of it all, the Strait of Hormuz once again emerges as a focal point of pressure and uncertainty. So what is really driving this diplomatic push? Is Iran pursuing a coordinated regional strategy through this tour? And is the broader objective to revive negotiations or to manage escalation through indirect diplomacy without fully resolving it? As mediation efforts take shape, is this a path toward a de-escalation or a strategic containment of conflicts? The answer with our guests after the jingle. And to discuss all of this, I'm joined by Mr. Mustansar Klasra, security analyst and editor of foreign affairs at the Islamabad Telegraph, joining us from Islamabad. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Mustansar.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
We're also joined by Mark Lowe, Corporate Risk Manager, joining us from Geneva. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much for the kind invitation. Always a pleasure.
Most welcome. It is our pleasure, Mark, and thank you, gentlemen, both for joining us. Maybe let me start with you from Islamabad. Mustansar, you are there as we speak. We have seen that the Iranian delegation has arrived. What is the atmosphere right now? It is 4:30 in the morning in Islamabad.
Well, yes, thank you very much for having me on your show. Yes, Islamabad is kind of... there is a lot of hustle and bustle, and our government officials were highly excited to just receive the Iranian foreign minister from the airport. Our foreign minister, Mr. Isagdar, and Field Marshal Asim Ali himself, they themselves went there at the airport to receive them. And yes, Pakistan and in particularly Islamabad was eagerly waiting for these honorable guests since last the 4 to 5 days. Islamabad is fully prepared, and the atmosphere over here is kind of a mixed kind of sentiment, because obviously the city has been prepared since last 2 or 3 days. The city welcomed the honorable guests very well. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mark, from a geopolitical risk perspective, when you see a move like this, an Iranian delegation arriving without confirmed direct talks, as a matter of fact, the Iranian delegation or Iran said there will be no direct talks. What does that signal at the moment?
Caution, playing for time, the fact that Iran probably does not believe that the American delegation will have any requests that are more reasonable when compared to the very maximalistic demands that were made in the earlier talks. So I think basically it's caution, caution, caution. Mm-hmm. Each side is playing for time. There are almost certainly some doubts in regards as to what each side will actually bring to the table. Mm. So I think these are talks that are being entered into on the concept of simply listening, trying to understand if the other side has changed its demands, has changed its stance. So that remains to be seen. Mm. In all probability, the two parts will not actually meet face to face, but everything will be channeled through intermediaries. Hopefully, I'm wrong. It would be a very good sign to see both parties, American and Iranian, sitting in the same room, at the same table, with real face-to-face discussions. We shall see. But just to conclude, I think that for the time being, we don't have any good reason to expect any particularly significant results. But it is very, very positive that these talks are continuing.
It is very positive that these talks are continuing. We heard Donald Trump talking today and saying that there is some progress with the Iranians. And afterwards, he also said that there is no hurry to end the war. How do we read that?
It's a very, very sad moment when an American president says that there is no hurry to end a war. A war is something that should be resolved as fast as is possible. Obviously, it's not always possible. Generally, it takes a very, very long time. But one thing is the reality of the facts and the difficulties in drawing a conflict to a close. That's one thing. But another thing is for one of the parties to quite candidly and casually announce that there is no hurry. This is a very, very worrying declaration. This is a very worrying situation. And I think more than anything else, it signals that the Trump administration is in a very bad place. They are without any form of plan or strategy in regards to actually how to bring this conflict to a close. So right just now, it's very, very much a case of this can persist. We don't have a plan. We really don't know where we're going. And so it's going to take time. We're not going to make any declarations other than to try and convince the world that we're not particularly worried and that we are in a strong position, in a position that will allow us to take our time. And I find this quite shocking. I find this very, very disturbing.
Mr. Mustansar Kalasra, maybe what is the real objective of the delegation led by Abbas Arashi in Islamabad specifically? What are the top priorities from the Iranian side?
Well, obviously, I would second my another fellow. What he would be kind of to say something early. Let's wait for the talks, and then we will be able to say something. But here, one thing I would like to add is because whenever this is not a kind of talk between talk between Islamabad and United States of America. He categorically mentioned.
I think we are having some cuts in the sound.
Categorically mentioned.
I will perhaps just ask my technical staff to check the sound from your part, Mr. Mustansar. And maybe back to you in the meantime, before we get back to Mr. Mustansar. Looks like we're having a sound issue. Mark, Iran's foreign minister is visiting Pakistan, Oman and Russia to coordinate on bilateral matters and to consult regional developments. What is the strategic significance of this tour that he's making, and why does Russia remain part of this diplomatic track and maybe not another country instead?
Well, let's go by degrees. The fact that meetings will be held in 3 different countries, Russia, Pakistan and Oman, that signals that this is a regional consultation, not simply a bilateral, a series of bilateral talks in Oman as opposed to Russia. So it's a regional consultation, which is, I think, quite significant. As specifically regards Moscow, then I think the reason there is quite obvious. Tehran would like to assure a firmer, a more stable Russian political backing. They will want to coordinate strategies, and they will want to coordinate strategies in order to strengthen Iran's leverage before any decisions are made, anything that emerges from these talks that will be held in Islamabad. So basically, Araghchi is heading to Moscow when this probably means that he wants to align positions before the next phase of a crisis or the next phase in, I don't like to call them negotiations. I think we still have to talk, I think we still have to reason in terms of talks, not negotiations. hopefully these talks will lead to negotiations. But in the meantime, Iran wants to closer alignment with Russia for a number of reasons, but more than anything else, in order to prove that the country has the backing of another major player. Russia is a major player. There is no two ways about it. Historic ties are very, very strong. But more than anything else, this is a signal to the other counterparts, and specifically the USA, that Tehran is not alone. It's not isolated. Tehran has alternatives. So I think that's basically what we can read from, as specifically regards the visit to Moscow, that's what we can read from this decision. But I mean, we have to reason in terms of the fact that at the end of the day, right just now, Russia very much remains Iran's most important great power backer. Now, of course, we can argue if Russia is or is not a great power, but at this current moment in time, it's certainly a power.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mustansar, maybe what is your take on that?
Yeah, basically what the honorable guest with you is rightly pointed out, Iran basically, what I said, Iran basically tried to convince the world that it's not an isolated state. Iranians have good relations. Iranians have good relations with already enjoyed brotherly relations. So I think Iran wants to show the adversaries, in particular to the United States of America, that it's not going to be an isolated state. It will terms. So that's what I would like to say over here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, Mr. Mark, how realistic do you think reaching a genuine negotiating table between the US and Iran under the current conditions and circumstances? And can we say that mediation can still deliver results after 2 months of conflict?
This depends on the goodwill of all of the parties involved. One would hope that talks will lead to negotiations, and that these negotiations will arrive, will deliver some form of solution. But right just now, I don't think that the signals are particularly positive at all. We have Iran, a country that has an enormous pain threshold. Iran is used to suffering. Iran can continue to suffer for a long time yet. The United States of America does not appear to have any clear strategy. And then we have the rest of the world that is not only watching, but is suffering. The consequences of any prolongation of the situation are very, very concerning indeed. This is already a very, very serious problem at a global level. And the longer it continues, the worse the situation will become, and will almost certainly lead to a series of economic crises that can lead to political crises. So it's not a good situation at all. But unfortunately, as things stand today, I don't see anything positive at all. The only thing that I see that is positive is that these talks are continuing, and we can only hope that these talks lead to negotiations that will deliver some sort of result. But I'm not holding my breath. I don't think there's really any possibility for any solution to be delivered anytime soon. So I think this is a situation, I think these are talks that will continue over time. The most important thing is that the two parties don't walk away and say that's enough, we're not sitting down at the table again. The important thing is for these talks to continue. Pakistan is doing a very, very good job. There are other countries that are involved that are trying to keep Americans and Iranians talking. This is very, very important. And we can only hope that good advice is taken seriously, and that Pakistan, having created the conditions whereby these talks can take place, continues to be able to convince both parties to further their discussions, enter into a phase where they will actually negotiate some form of solution. But it's very, very complicated because we have two incredibly diverse nations, two incredibly diverse cultures, two incredibly diverse political administrations that are both making some very, very strong maximalistic demands. So quite where they're going to meet remains to be seen.
It remains to be seen. Mr. Mustansar, we have seen Pakistan today. They have said to Iran that it is important to keep dialogue and to keep communication open to resolve the outstanding issues. And how long can Pakistan continue in its role as a mediator, and what are its core interests in sustaining this channel of mediation between the US and Iran in their conflict?
I think government of Pakistan has already mentioned that the only agenda for holding the peace talks by Pakistan was because Pakistan, it's not only for the betterment of Pakistan, but in fact it's the betterment of for the regional stability. Pakistan is, as we all know, Pakistan is having a struggling economy, and already lots of kind of lots of issues are being addressed over here as well. But Iran is a brotherly nation of Pakistan. Pakistan enjoys good kind of friendly relations with Iran. In fact, Iran was the first state who recognized Pakistan after its creation. So Pakistan values the relationship of Iran with itself. And secondly, Iran is also secondly, Pakistan mentioned is that Pakistan wants a strategic. Pakistan wants stability in the region, because the stability in the region will basically help the Pakistan and its regional allies and its regional members to run their economy in a smooth and stable way. So that's only the agenda to hold and to host these kind of talks is the only to bring peace to the humanity. So Pakistan was once unfortunately viewed as a kind of the terrorist heaven, and our neighborly state India has already tried to blame Pakistan on these kind of negative elements. But Pakistan, I think, has proved itself that it's a peace-loving nation. Pakistan supports peace and stability across the country, across the globe. So that's the only agenda. I don't. There are no. And secondly, obviously, Iran is a brotherly Muslim state, and Pakistan with Pakistan it enjoys good relations as well. So to bring peace for the humanity is the only kind of objective so far for Pakistan.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mark, if Iran is engaging indirectly while tensions are still escalating in the Strait of Hormuz, should this be seen as strategic patience or just, tactical delay?
The issue of the straits is confusion, basically, but unfortunately with very, very direct and very, very serious consequences. Iran, by closing the straits, is showing us that it has a lot of leverage, it has a lot of power, and that it can make the world a very, very difficult place for a great number of different nations. And these nations will ultimately knock on the door of the United States of America and say, all of this is a result of the actions that you took, actions that were justified, were not justified. We all have our own opinions on this, and hopefully at some point in the future, there will be some serious investigation into exactly why the United States of America decided to attack Iran, including a very, very detailed analysis of the legal considerations. But for the time being, Iran has a very, very powerful instrument, and it's the ability to close the straits to maritime traffic. And then on the other side, we have the United States of America that's not allowing Iran to allow friendly nations to transit the straits. It's not allowing Iran to export its oil. It's not allowing Iran to import a lot of goods that it actually needs, although, of course, Iran does have ports that are outside of the Gulf, yes, of course. But a lot of the traffic and a lot of at the end of the day, a lot of the money that is absolutely crucial to Tehran is not being allowed to go into the state coffers because the United States of America is blocking the transit of vessels that are heading to or leaving Iranian ports. So both sides are using the tools that they have at their disposition. They're using them fairly efficiently, and the situation is quite simply getting worse and worse. We will arrive at the point where it is an absolute stalemate, where nobody will benefit, and where no progress will be made at all. But for the time being, both parties involved can continue to enforce their blockades for quite a long time yet. Now, just one little bit of conclusion, going back to what Dr. Klasara said about Pakistan's role. He's absolutely correct, and it's very, very important for Pakistan to continue to host these talks and benefit from the very important relationships that Pakistan has created with all of the players involved, and also with other countries further away, for example, Russia itself and China. So Pakistan is now a country that is no longer, as Dr. Klasara mentioned earlier, considered nothing other than a terrorist haven. Pakistan has emerged as a diplomatic player. And this is something that's very, very important. And I think that Pakistan should be complimented. We also have to remember that Pakistan has another very good reason for wanting to see this conflict come to an end. And it's not solely the fact that it's part of the greater region and therefore has, by definition, a vested interest. But Pakistan also has a defense agreement with Saudi Arabia, a defense agreement signed in 2025, that would see Pakistan have to come to Saudi Arabia's support should Saudi Arabia be attacked, and should Saudi Arabia find itself in a position whereby it felt obliged to respond to these attacks. So there's also this issue as well. And I would not like to be sitting in Islamabad at this moment under so much pressure and with so many concerns. But I must say, very, very well done, Islamabad.
Very, very well done, Islamabad. Mr. Mustansar, can mediation really work? We've been speaking about the situation, the tense situation in the Strait of Hormuz. So can we hope that it realistically works out? And what if those contacts fail at the end of the day? What could be the risk in the coming hours if the contacts fail between the US and Iran?
Well, yes, at this point, if there is facing a lot of challenges, yes, the second guest rightly mentioned it, that Pakistan is having a relationship with Saudi Arabia. Pakistan is having a defense deal with Saudi Arabia, and at the same time, Pakistan is enjoying a relationship with Iran as well. So drawing the conclusion that why these talks are being failed or why these talks are being, I think it's very early to say something about the conclusion, because Iranians and Americans have a 2 or 3 decade kind of issues. So getting a conclusion and getting a kind of success rate would be kind of relatively will be low at this moment. But yes, negotiations are being taken place. Both the parties are kind of willing to sit on the table or in front of each other, and with the help of mediation. So I think this is an encouraging sign, and Pakistan is no doubt is in a lot of pressure because Pakistan has the relationship with Saudi Arabia. So in that context, I think it would be early to say anything, but the government of Pakistan is highly optimistic, And it will even try to, for example, after this kind of bilateral meeting that Iraqi has arrived in Islamabad, even if they are not willing to sit in front of the Americans in Islamabad, so Islamabad will be happy to even arrange the mediation or third level talk with Iranians and Americans as well, because at this moment Iraqi is on a 3 states visit. He's not on a special visit to Islamabad. He's not here at a kind of special. He did not come here to meet the Americans. In fact, the Iraqi has categorically mentioned that Iran will pursue the mediation of Pakistan and will convey its messages to Americans through Pakistan. They are not directly involved at this time. But yes, Pakistan has always tried to prove itself as a good mediator, and the good thing is Iranians and Americans have a trust and confidence on Pakistan, because Pakistan has been incredible host. Pakistan's intentions are very pure. Pakistan's intentions are to bring peace and stability in the region. That is not only beneficial for Pakistan, but in fact it would be beneficial for across the globe, because we are witnessing a kind of different shocks that economy of the world is bearing.
Mr. Mustansar, thank you very much. You joined us live from Islamabad. Thank you for your participation and contribution to our show. Also, Mr. Mark Lowe, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. You were live with us from Geneva. Kind attention, and hope to see you in our next editions.